Good afternoon and welcome to your Friday Flow with me, Kaitlyn. We're going to take it really easy today. We're just going to look at a little bit of relaxation and gentle stretching from the floor. If you can, please do feel free to adapt this to a chair or a sofa if you want to do it seated as well. Or alternatively, you could do it lying down on your bed if you want to. Just make sure that you don't roll off and that you're being safe. Before we begin, as always, please just make sure that you're in some comfy clothes, that you've got some water next to you and that you've got a little bit of space to move in. Like I said, ideally we're going to be using the floor, so if you can get down, please do. But if you would like to work from a seated position, then just make sure that you've got a little bit of room around you and you're not going to bang into anything. We are going to be working a little bit with the eyes closed. If eyes closed doesn't work for you, then please just lower your gaze so that you're not too distracted by anything around you. If at any point I mention something that doesn't work for you, then please do feel free to adapt it. This should feel lovely and nice. Anything that doesn't feel relaxing to you, change it, come back to a neutral position and build again from there. Fab. So, as you may be able to hear, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I've got some nice relaxing music on. We are going to start lead down. I'm going to start lead down. If you would prefer to start from a cross-legged position, like this, an uncrossed cross leg like I normally say, then please do. But I am going to invite you to lie down. And at some points, I might open my eyes, I might talk a little bit to the camera. That doesn't mean that you have to. You can stay lead down with your eyes closed if they are, and just listen to my voice and help that guide you. So I'm just going to invite you to lie down and have any shifts that you need to so that you're super comfy here. We don't want to get to any points where we're thinking about how uncomfortable our bodies are rather than relaxing. So shifting and wiggling throughout is definitely welcome. You can see me doing it now. I adjusted my hair, I adjusted my top. And then I'm just going to help ease myself into the floor. Move back a little bit so you can see. And I'm just going to wiggle my pelvis here. So I'm just going to wiggle it to help me ease into the floor. And as I'm doing so, I'm just having a nice few deep breaths. And it helps me to close my eyes straight away. So if you would like to do that, then I invite you to. If not, then do just try and lower your gaze, close your eyes slightly so you can still see, but they're not super wide open, and letting loads of light in. And after you feel you've come to a place where you can sink down into the floor, I'm just going to invite you to place your hands on the belly, and we're just going to focus on breath. So we're going to inflate the stomach, the hands are going to rise. We're going to breathe out through the mouth, and the hands lower, the stomach deflates. In. Two more times here at your own pace. And once we've done that, we're just going to keep the hands there for a little bit. Feel the natural rhythm of our breathing, inflating the hands. Trying to connect to the rhythm of our breath. And if our mind wanders, that's totally fine. We welcome it in, we say thank you. But I don't need you right now, so we just say I'm going to think about you later. To help draw the mind back in, just bring the focus back to the breath. And if it helps you to imagine an image when we're breathing, you can think of an inflating in a deflating balloon, or a boat rocking on the surface of a wave, or a leaf floating on the top of a pond. It's totally up to you what you want to imagine. And when we feel connected in, we're just going to take the hands, we're going to place them down next to us. Palms facing up to the ceiling if we can. And then we're just going to introduce some gentle movement again. So I'm going to flex and point my toes, and that's going to wiggle my body. I think you can see it moving slightly. So if I show you directly facing you, and then I'll move back, I'm just going to wiggle my body with my feet. And if you're nice, relaxed and sunk down and that weight is really sinking into the floor, your feet moving should rock the whole body backwards and forwards. And again, if you need to have any shifts throughout, please do. This should all feel nice and lovely. Aim to relax down into the floor. Let the ground take your weight. Again, if you would like to use imagery, you can imagine your body lying on top of warm sand. It's carrying your weight. You're sinking down into it. And we're just going to make those flexing points a little bit smaller, gradually moving the body less and less and less until we come back to a neutral position. I'm going to invite you to raise the arms above the head. Have one long stretch out. Nice deep breath in if you want to as well. Then we're going to bring the elbows back down. Open up the chest. Stretching the arms up. Opening through the waist. Elbows back down in a nice right angle shape. You should feel it in the shoulders, feel it in the chest. And then we're just going to wrap the arms around the body. A nice big hug. And again, have any shifts you want to here. If your t-shirt is slightly stuck to the floor, pull it out, that's totally fine. A couple of deep breaths here, really hugging into yourself. Opening the arms back up. We're going to invite one knee up, so my foot's going down to the floor, and the other knee up as well. So knees are facing towards the ceiling. I'm going to bring the arms down, and again, just have any wiggles here that I need to, so I can still remain loose and I'm sinking into the floor rather than holding my weight. We want to try and let go of all of the tension. Wiggling the pelvis again, releasing anything that we need to. And we're just going to hug one knee up into the chest. And again, a couple of nice deep breaths here. Exhaling loudly through the mouth, releasing anything that we need to. And I'm just wiggling my leg here, so if you need to do that as well, please do. My foot is nice and loose. Gently letting go of that leg, hugging the other one into the chest. Letting out any sound we need to help release tension. Trying to elongate the breath as much as possible. And again, if our mind begins to wander because we're moving forward, just bring it back to the breath. Take it nice and slow. Stay with the position that you're in until you come back. Releasing that leg down too. And we're just going to tip the knees to one side. And we're going to take the head to the other direction. Trying to relax this top leg down. My arms are nice and wide, my head's the other way. Again, you just might need to have a little bit of a rock to help release. Back through center, we're going to take the head back to neutral, knees back to neutral. We're going to tip the legs the other way. We're going to take the head to the opposite side. And again, if there's anything that's distracting your mind, like your t-shirt, a hair in your face, move it so that you can focus. Have any shifts and wiggles you need so that you can relax down. A gentle shake of the hips again. We're going to come back to neutral, and this time we're going to take 2 legs into the chest. We're going to bring the head up, squeezing into a nice ball, and then just relaxing everything back down. Let the legs sink down into the floor. Stretching out like a big star in all 4 directions. And then we're just going to gently roll onto our side in a nice fetal position. Nice and relaxed. Again, letting out any sounds that you need to. I'm just shifting so that you can see me, but don't feel like you need to. And if you haven't been able to close your eyes yet, it might just be nice here to take a moment to gently close your eyes, even just for a second. And then we're just going to extend slightly from here. So I'm going to take my top arm and my top leg, and I'm just going to straighten them out in a nice stretch. You should feel lovely through your hip. Coming back in, rolling through our neutral position, rolling over onto the other side. And we're just going to take a moment here again. I've got my back to you. I'm doing exactly the same thing that we've just done. And then again, the top arm and the top leg. We're just going to stretch it out. You might feel a few creaks and clunks, that's totally fine. Bringing it back in all the way to neutral. And then we're just going to finish with one last stretch. So we're going to cross the foot over the knee. I think some people call this a number 4 stretch, but it's a glute stretch. I'm going to thread my hand through that knee, underneath my leg, and I'm just going to gently, and that's our key word here, gently pull it in, and I'm just having a gentle rock from side to side. If anything feels stiff, connecting to that breath again, releasing it on the out breath through the mouth, having a nice big sigh if you need to. Gently releasing that leg, releasing the hands, and it sinks back down. Unhooking the foot, hooking the other one over the top, letting the knees sink out, threading the arms through and underneath the leg, gently pulling in, and just having a nice little rock again. If the rock is too much and you just want to stay still, connect to the breath, that's totally fine as well. One leg might feel a little bit different to the other. That's normal. And I lied, we're going to do one more stretch. So I think it will link nicely with this, but we're going to release the arms down, unhook the feet. And this time we're going to do the same kind of motion as drawing the knees into the chest, but we're going to open the knees like we would with a wide leg child pose. So we're going to come up, we're just going to open them out nice and wide so they're either side of my torso. I'm going to squeeze them in, I'm going to focus on opening the chest, pushing the shoulder blades down into the floor. Just have 2 nice long deep breaths here. And I'm just going to circle my knees round a little bit. Ease some tension in the hips. If you'd like to do it with one leg at a time, that's totally fine. And then I'm just going to sink the legs back down into the floor. And we're just going to finish with a couple of breaths back in our original position, in a nice neutral, comfortable place. Have any shifts that you need to so that you can focus on sinking down into the ground. And on your next out breath, we're just going to roll onto one side again. Drawing everything back into our nice comfy fetal position. And you're using the breath again to help you up. On the out breath, we're going to use the hands to help push us up so that we're in a seated position. If we're on a chair, opening your gaze, using your hands to help push you. You might want to come up to standing a little bit. Being gentle with yourself. We've just spent a good amount of time lying down, so you might feel a little bit of rush in the head. Just having a couple more nice breaths here to reorientate yourself. If your eyes have been closed, now is the time to open them slowly and gently. And just to help bring us back into the room, we're just going to take our raindrop fingers, nice and gentle, and we're just going to pitter-patter all the way over our face. Nice and gentle. Lovely, and releasing that. Having any last wiggles that you need to. Maybe one last stretch upwards and a nice sigh out. And that brings us to the end of our Friday flow. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me through that relaxation. Take that time whenever you need, 15 minutes, just to do what you need to do, what you want to do, to help relax you into the weekend, but again, at any time throughout the week if you need it as well, just before bed or when you wake up in the morning if you're feeling a bit stiff. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.